Open-world games are where the PS5 truly shines, offering massive worlds packed with detail, freedom, and endless exploration. Today, we're counting down 16 of the absolute best open-world games you can play on PlayStation 5 right now. Titles you can easily sink hundreds of hours into without ever getting bored. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe because this list is loaded with incredible experiences. Let's dive in. Ticking things off, we have Dying Light 2, Stay Human, a showcase of parkour-based zombie action at its finest. Set 20 years after a devastating outbreak, you explore the city, one of humanity's last strongholds. The game's standout feature is its incredible parkour system. Wall running, vaulting, grappling, and rooftop traversal all feel smooth and satisfying, turning the massive vertical map into a playground. When night falls, the tone shifts dramatically. The infected become faster and more dangerous, forcing you to either stay hidden or make a desperate run for safety. The day-night cycle adds real tension and makes exploration feel meaningful. Combat is brutal and customizable, with weapons that degrade over time but can be upgraded with elemental effects. Player choice plays a huge role, shaping which factions control districts and how the city evolves. The story dives into survival, trust, and humanity's struggle in a collapsing world. Co-op for up to 4 players enhances the experience even further. With a reactive world, deep choices, and some of the best movement mechanics in gaming, Dying Light 2 absolutely earns its spot on this list. Next up is Days Gone, an underrated post-apocalyptic open-world adventure set in the Pacific Northwest. You play as Deacon St. John, a drifter and bounty hunter, trying to survive in a world dominated by zombie-like freakers. The game's dynamic world is one of its biggest strengths. Weather impacts gameplay, massive roaming hordes keep you constantly on edge, and your motorcycle acts as your lifeline, requiring fuel, upgrades, and repairs to stay functional. The story delivers far more emotion than you might expect, exploring loss, loyalty, and hope as Deacon searches for purpose in a collapsing world. Combat is tense and tactical, especially when dealing with the enormous freaker hordes that can overwhelm you in seconds. The world is packed with enemy camps, infestations, and side missions that flesh out the survivors trying to rebuild their lives. While it launched rough, updates have turned Days Gone into a polished, content-rich experience. The map is huge and visually varied, offering forests, snowy peaks, and desert regions with their own challenges. If you enjoy post-apocalyptic worlds, motorcycle culture, or open-world games with real danger and atmosphere, Days Gone absolutely earns its place on this list. Next on the list is Dragon's Dogma 2. Capcom's long-awaited fantasy RPG sequel that finally arrived after more than a decade. This is a massive open-world adventure where you create your own character, recruit AI companions called pawns, and set out into a world filled with dragons, griffins, ancient ruins, and unpredictable danger. The world is enormous and varied, spanning 2 nations with distinct cultures, politics, and landscapes. You'll travel through forests, mountains, caverns, and forgotten temples, all seamlessly without loading screens. A dynamic day-night cycle and shifting weather keep exploration tense, with tougher monsters emerging at night and storms reshaping your travel plans. Combat is where Dragon's Dogma 2 truly shines. You choose from several vocations: warrior, mage, thief, and hybrid classes, each offering unique abilities and playstyles. Climbing onto giant monsters during battles while your pawns support you with spells and strategies creates encounters that feel epic and unpredictable. The pawn system also lets you hire companions made by other players, giving them knowledge about quests, weaknesses, and hidden paths. The game is unapologetically old school, letting you wander into high-level areas and deal with the consequences. Limited fast travel makes every journey feel meaningful, filled with surprises and danger. Side quests have weight, and NPCs can die permanently, altering your story in unexpected ways. For players who want a challenging, deeply immersive RPG set in a sprawling open world, Dragon's Dogma 2 is absolutely one of the best choices on PS5.
Next up is Monster Hunter Wilds, Capcom's 2025 evolution of the franchise that made the series more accessible than ever without losing the depth fans love. The Forbidden Lands are absolutely stunning, Massive, interconnected ecosystems filled with wildlife, shifting terrain, and dynamic weather. Sandstorms, lightning storms, and environmental hazards constantly reshape the battlefield, and monsters migrate between regions, creating a world that feels genuinely alive. Combat has been refined with smoother transitions between exploration and fighting, plus new movement options that make hunts more fluid. Riding your Sacred Companion adds mobile combat options, opening up fresh strategies, while all 14 classic weapons return with expanded moves and combos. Customization is deeper than ever, letting you fine-tune your hunter's appearance, armor, skills, and full loadouts. The story takes you through deserts, jungles, tundras, and more, each home to new monsters and unique environmental challenges. Co-op is as strong as ever, letting you team up with friends for massive hunts, and the community remains welcoming to newcomers. Despite a rocky PC launch, the PS5 version runs beautifully and showcases some of the best creature designs in the series. If you've ever been curious about Monster Hunter, Wilds is the perfect entry point and one of the most compelling open-world experiences on PS5.
Here's something special. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2, a masterclass in historical realism. Set in 15th century medieval Europe, you continue the journey of Henry, a blacksmith's son swept into a brutal civil war within the Holy Roman Empire. There's no magic or fantasy here, just grounded, meticulously researched history. The world is filled with real locations and historical figures, NPCs follow believable daily routines, and your reputation with different factions affects everything from prices to story outcomes. Combat is challenging, deliberate, and skill-based. Swordplay, archery, and mounted combat require genuine practice, with timing and positioning being far more important than button mashing. Armor realistically protects you, but also slows you down and influences how others perceive you. The sequel builds on the original with smoother pacing, more varied quests, improved systems, and bigger, more dynamic environments. You'll take part in political schemes, siege warfare, romances, and a wide range of side activities such as blacksmithing, alchemy, gambling, and even bardic performance. The story is mature and morally complex, exploring loyalty, revenge, faith, and the harsh realities of medieval life. For players who want an open-world RPG that's challenging, immersive, and deeply respectful of history, Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2 is one of the most rewarding experiences you can play on PS5.
Assassin's Creed Shadows finally brings the franchise to feudal Japan, a setting fans have wanted for nearly 20 years, and Ubisoft delivered one of their most visually stunning and innovative entries yet. You play as two protagonists, a shinobi assassin skilled in stealth, parkour, and silent takedowns, and a real historical figure who brings heavy, powerful samurai combat to the table. This dual character system creates two distinct play styles that constantly keep the gameplay fresh. The recreation of 16th century Japan during the Azuchi Momoyama period is breathtaking. Kyoto's bustling streets, serene bamboo forests, mountain temples, and rural villages are all meticulously detailed. Seasonal changes affect gameplay. Winter snow aids stealth but slows travel, while lively festivals provide perfect opportunities for blending into crowds. Ubisoft has refined the open-world formula here by trimming filler and focusing on impactful side quests, rewarding exploration, and a world that feels meaningful rather than cluttered. Natural geography like rivers and mountains acts as real obstacles, enhancing immersion. Despite pre-launch controversies, the final game is polished and respectful of Japanese culture. Parkour is smooth, combat feels satisfying for both characters, and the story explores themes of tradition, modernization, and identity. For Assassin's Creed fans or anyone who loves samurai and ninja culture, Shadows is the franchise at its most refined and atmospheric.
Halfway through the list, we have Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter game fans waited decades to finally experience. Set in the 1800s, long before the events of the books, you step into the role of a Hogwarts student who holds the key to an ancient secret threatening the wizarding world. This is the fully explorable Hogwarts fans always imagined, an enormous castle packed with secrets, moving staircases, hidden rooms, and interactive classrooms. You'll attend lessons, master spells, brew potions, and uncover mysteries in a school that feels authentic and alive. but the adventure extends far beyond the castle walls. The Scottish Highlands serve as a massive open world, including iconic locations like Hogsmeade and the Forbidden Forest, alongside numerous villages, caves, and dungeons. You can fly on broomsticks, ride magical beasts, and use the Flu network for fast travel. Combat is surprisingly deep, letting you mix a wide range of spells to craft your own magical fighting style. Side activities such as beast taming, room of requirement customization, puzzle dungeons, and collectible hunts add even more depth. The main story revolves around ancient magic and a goblin rebellion, with choices that influence how events play out. Character customization, house selection, and role-playing freedom let you build your ideal witch or wizard. Whether you're a longtime Potter fan or simply love immersive fantasy RPGs, Hogwarts Legacy delivers a richly detailed magical world you can truly live in and stands as the definitive Harry Potter game experience.
Next up is Horizon Forbidden West, a top-tier PS5 experience that expands on everything the first game did well. You return as Aloy, journeying into the Forbidden West, a post-apocalyptic stretch of America where lush nature, powerful tribes, and towering robotic creatures dominate the landscape. The map is enormous and incredibly varied, taking you through deserts, jungles, snowy mountains, underwater ruins, and decaying cities. Each region feels distinct, packed with machine sites, rebel camps, puzzles, and secrets. Combat has been refined across the board. New weapons, traps, and skills give you more tactical options, and taking down massive machines requires smart planning, scanning weak points, using the right ammo types, and adjusting your strategy mid-fight. Melee combat is also deeper and more satisfying, with improved combos and finishers. The story pushes Aloy further into her mission to prevent ecological collapse, introducing new tribes, cultures, and companions that add emotional weight and world building. Exploration is one of the game's biggest strengths. Enhanced climbing tools, full underwater exploration, and the addition of flying mounts open up the world in exciting ways, rewarding curiosity with breathtaking views and hidden discoveries. With its stunning visuals, engaging combat, and one of the most unique sci-fi worlds in gaming, Horizon Forbidden West stands as a must-play PS5 exclusive.
Death Stranding 2, On the Beach, is Kojima's boldest vision yet, releasing in 2025 as a massive evolution of the original game. You return as Sam Porter Bridges, this time expanding the Tyrol network across entirely new continents. The landscapes are even more striking. Crystalline beaches, alien formations, and surreal dreamlike regions that make the world feel both familiar and completely otherworldly, as if you're exploring an alternate version of Earth. Traversal has been expanded in meaningful ways. New vehicles, upgraded tools, and smarter route planning systems make navigating harsh terrain more involved and satisfying. What sounds simple on paper becomes an addictive loop where every delivery feels like a real achievement. The story is classic Kojima, strange, emotional, and thematically rich, supported by an excellent cast that deepens the game's mythology and explores ideas of connection, isolation, and rebuilding society. Multiplayer elements are more impactful than ever, letting you collaborate asynchronously with other players through shared structures, supply drops, and pathways carved through dangerous zones. Boss fights are spectacular and surreal, blending action with Kojima's signature sense of cinematic weirdness. Death Stranding 2 isn't a game for everyone, but for those who embrace its unique rhythm and atmosphere, it stands out as one of the most original and unforgettable open-world experiences on PS5.
Cyberpunk 2077 is one of gaming's greatest redemption stories. After a rocky launch, years of updates, and the phenomenal Phantom Liberty expansion have transformed it into the immersive Cyberpunk RPG it was always meant to be. Night City remains one of the most detailed and impressive open worlds ever created. 6 massive districts filled with corporate towers, gang territories, underground clubs, and rooftop pathways that make exploration feel endlessly vertical and alive. You play as V, a mercenary climbing the ranks in a city obsessed with cybernetic enhancement. Character builds are incredibly flexible, letting you specialize in hacking, stealth, melee, or guns-blazing combat. Choices matter throughout the entire game, shaping relationships, quests, and multiple endings. The writing is mature and philosophical, exploring themes of identity, mortality, and humanity in a world where people are more machine than flesh. Side quests are standout highlights, often delivering emotional, memorable stories that rival the main plot. The Phantom Liberty expansion adds a gripping spy thriller storyline and an entirely new district, along with improved combat and powerful cyberware abilities. Night City is breathtaking, especially at night, glowing with neon lights and holograms that make every street corner feel alive. After its long road to recovery, Cyberpunk 2077 is now one of the best open-world RPGs available on PS5.
Ghost of Yotei marks Sucker Punch's return to samurai epics, but this isn't Ghost of Tsushima 2. It's a completely new story set 300 years later in a different region of Japan. Taking place in 1603 around Mount Yotei in Hokkaido, you play as Atsu, an Onimusha warrior living through Japan's unification under the Tokugawa shogunate. The narrative explores shifting social roles, personal conflict, and political tension, giving the sequel a more complex emotional core. The world is stunning and far more varied than Tsushima. You'll roam grassy plains, dense forests, volcanic hot springs, snowy tundras, and remote villages, each region with its own atmosphere and dangers. Combat has been reworked around Atsu's unique fighting style, blending traditional samurai techniques with inventive tactics shaped by her background. Both stealth and direct combat remain viable, now expanded with new weapons, abilities, and strategies. The story is more intimate and layered, exploring themes of honor, identity, and belonging in a rapidly changing Japan. Fan-favorite features like the guiding wind, photo mode, and meditative side activities return with improvements based on player feedback. Critics praised it as one of the best games of 2025, outperforming even the original. Whether you loved Ghost of Tsushima or are new to the franchise, Ghost of Yotei is a PS5 masterpiece.
Cracking
Entering the top 4, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth takes the remake trilogy fully into open-world territory. Picking up right after Remake, Cloud and the party leave Midgar and journey across a massive world in pursuit of Sephiroth while uncovering the dark truths behind Shinra's experiments. This is one of the biggest, most ambitious JRPG worlds in years, with iconic locations like the Grasslands, Junon, Costa del Sol, and the Gold Saucer, beautifully reimagined and packed with side activities, exploration, and hidden challenges. The combat system builds on Remake's foundation with new synergy abilities that allow characters to combine attacks in spectacular ways. You can freely switch between party members, each offering distinct playstyles, and materia customization is deeper than ever, letting you fine-tune your builds. The story expands on the original while introducing new twists, richer character development, and side quests that flesh out relationships and personalities. Even romance elements subtly influence character interactions and certain scenes. Rebirth also embraces the series' love for side content: chocobo breeding, Queen's Blood card battles, minigames, optional super bosses, piano performances, photo mode, and countless odd jobs across towns. It's a huge game that balances open-world freedom with a tightly crafted narrative. For JRPG fans, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stands as a modern masterpiece.
Breaking into our top 3 is the game that simply refuses to die, Grand Theft Auto V. More than a decade after release, it remains one of the best open-world experiences ever made, and the PS5 version makes Los Santos look and feel better than ever. Los Santos and Blaine County form one of gaming's most iconic maps, alive, reactive, and overflowing with personality. From the bright lights of Vinewood to the rundown neighborhoods of South Los Santos to the dusty stretches of Blaine County, the world's variety is unmatched. The story features 3 protagonists, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor, whose intersecting arcs create one of Rockstar's most memorable crime sagas. Switching between them during missions is still innovative, letting you see events from multiple perspectives. Trevor alone remains one of gaming's most unforgettable characters. Heists act as the game's big set pieces, giving you planning freedom and multiple ways to pull off elaborate robberies. Side activities are endless, ranging from tennis and yoga to stock trading, hunting, and bizarre strangers and freaks encounters. GTA Online continues to evolve with new missions, heists, vehicles, and events, keeping the game relevant year after year. The PS5 upgrade adds faster loading, enhanced visuals, and smoother performance modes that make the experience feel fresh all over again. More than 10 years later, GTA 5 remains the gold standard for open-world crime games and a masterclass in world design that countless studios still study.
Our runner-up is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, often considered one of the greatest RPGs ever made, and for good reason. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter searching for his adopted daughter while navigating political conflict, ancient prophecies, and moral dilemmas in a dark, mature fantasy world. The open world is enormous and richly detailed, from the war-scarred swamps of Vilan to the bustling streets of Novigrad to the icy islands of Skellige. Every location feels alive, with quests, NPCs, and storylines shaped by your decisions. The quest design is legendary. Even side quests unfold like full stories, filled with moral complexity, twists, and choices that have real consequences. The writing tackles themes of war, family, prejudice, and destiny with nuance and emotional weight. Combat is strategic and rewarding, blending swordplay, magic signs, and alchemy. Monster contracts feel like true investigations, researching your target, preparing potions and oils, and executing the hunt with precision. Boss encounters are memorable and often surprisingly tragic. The expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, add dozens of hours of top-tier content, with narratives strong enough to stand beside the main story. Romance arcs, especially with Yennefer and Triss, add emotional depth. Even years after release, The Witcher 3 remains the gold standard for narrative-driven open-world RPGs. If you haven't played it yet, you're missing one of gaming's greatest achievements.
And taking the top spot is Elden Ring, From Software's open-world masterpiece that redefined how exploration should feel in a video game. A collaboration between Hidetaka Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin, it delivers one of the most rewarding and mysterious worlds ever created. The lands between is vast, interconnected, and filled with danger, secrets, and surprises at every turn. Instead of guiding you with constant markers, the game encourages pure exploration. Every direction leads to hidden dungeons, powerful bosses, and even entire underground regions as large as the surface. The classic Souls formula fits perfectly into this open-world structure. Combat is challenging but rewarding, requiring patience and precision, and the build variety is enormous. Strength builds, magic casters, dex assassins, hybrid builds, and more. Weapon arts, spirit summons, and ashes expand your strategic options. The story is delivered through environmental clues, item descriptions, and cryptic NPC dialogue, allowing you to piece together a tragic, mythic history on your own terms. Boss fights are unforgettable, from early tests like Margit to the game's breathtaking finale. Optional bosses and secret areas ensure you can play for hundreds of hours and still discover new content. Elden Ring proves that open-world games don't need hand-holding to be extraordinary. It trusts you to explore, fail, learn, and ultimately triumph. With stunning art direction, deep combat, and an unmatched sense of discovery, it isn't just the best open-world game on PS5. It's one of the greatest games ever made. And there you have it. 16 of the absolute best open-world games you can experience on PlayStation 5 as of December 2025. From the challenging brilliance of Elden Ring to the narrative depth of The Witcher 3, from the stunning world of Ghost of Yotei to the fully redeemed Cyberpunk 2077, these are the kinds of games you can lose yourself in for hundreds of hours. Which one is your favorite? And are there any you think should have made the list? Let me know in the comments below.